Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. This is the Team Liquid Legacy Star League round of 24, and we have just completed the Group A of this round, and then we're now going on to Group B.
Yes, indeed.
I have some unfortunate news, Elegant. Some very unfortunate news.
Hit me.
One of the players in this group, LRM Infected, misread the PM that told him when he was supposed to play and actually missed the play day. So we tried our best, but we had to, unfortunately, just give walkovers to the other players in the group. So LRM Infected is just dropping out of the group 0-2.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair though, to his credit, we know he was practicing really hard on Fish. Like, he really wanted to play this tournament, and he actually showed up today. You know, he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry about this, guys. It was completely my fault. Like, you told me the time, I wasn't paying attention. I didn't read the time correctly. So I'm really sorry." And he actually sent me a PM. He wanted me to read this on stream, so I'll just read this for you guys. He says, "Hello, I just want to apologize to the community, and I want to thank the organizers and the sponsors. It was a real pleasure to me that I was part of this great tournament. Thanks, Sail and Elegant, for the casts, and I hope you enjoy the games. Please just let the stream viewers know that I really wanted to leave this tournament with some honor, and it's my mistake that I missed the playtime. So you know, props to him for kind of admitting his mistake, and I hope nobody is too upset at him about this. I mean, time zones are pretty tricky. I mean,
very difficult.
I get messed up all the time.
Yeah.
So you know, Korean time and whatnot.
I mean, so I don't even know what time zone I live in.
Exactly.
And what time is it right now?
Even for us, like, you know, and also with summertime, it gets converted. So sometimes you're +1 and sometimes you're not, and it's like, ah.
Who needs it? Who needs it? Honestly.
So yeah, unfortunately, he is 0-2 out of the group. But the other 3 players did show, so we will have 3 games instead of 5.
Yes, indeed we will. And of course, those 3 games are going to be featuring such classic favorites as the Mustache Zerg, among others. So who could hate that? It's definitely worth sticking around for. So don't be too gutted, because there's still going to be lots of great games.
That's right, indeed there will. As you can see on the screen now, G5 takes the first game by default, so we're going straight on to set number 2, which will be LRM Bakuryu versus iFU.TTF. It's going to be a TVZ, our first one of... Oh no, not our first one of round 24. Sorry, I just expect every non-ZBZ to be the first one of the round.
Yeah.
I mean, go figure. But yeah, as you said, LRM Bakuryu, the Mustache Zerg. If you don't know why he's called that, just go look up his ISL interview. He's actually done a ton of interviews now. He's pretty big community figure. Yeah, he's pretty popular in the foreign community. He's a really nice guy, And I believe, according to the Liquipedia page, he actually has a bit of a rivalry with TTF.
Does he?
If I'm mistaken. I had no idea. But apparently, like, he did an Abyss attack once, you know, kind of like a TL attack style show, but for IC Cup. And I think TTF was a bit BM or something, and Bakuryu, of course, being the honorable gentleman that he is, could not allow it. So a rivalry has formed or something.
Wow, always cool. Yeah. So we're going to see these 2 apparently rivals square off in this particular match. So yeah, hang around for that. And of course, then we're going to see G5 in action as well, which is always going to be incredibly exciting.
Just want to do a couple of quick notes, by the way, on these players. So Bakuryu, neither of these players actually has posted amazing results recently. Bakuryu, to me especially, is one of those players who's really good, but hasn't actually won like a big individual tour or anything like that. Hasn't really, you know, broken out. You know, he reminds me of C. You know, he's always in the team leagues. He plays in Gambit's Cup for LRM. He played in, you know, IC Cup Clan League. He played in Nation Wars for Eastern Europe, Central Europe, some kind of Europe.
I don't know.
He's really helpful to players in the community and stuff like that. He's a really nice guy. He's a really good player, but just never quite reaching far in the individual leagues. Like, he's played so many leagues. But you know, I think like in all the ISLs he got at best a round of 8 finish or something like that. Even into final tournaments, he's decently placed. I think he's like 6th place in the ELO ranking there, but he just hasn't actually won very many. So so yeah, definitely looking to maybe take this TLS as his first big individual league win.
Yeah, and I'd be kind of rooting for him for that because it's been a long time coming, and he's a hard-working guy, he's a hard-working player, and I think that deserves to be rewarded. But of course, it's all about how you play on the day.
That's right, it is indeed. Well, let's see how he stacks up against TTF here. Don't want to drag on the intro too long, so without further ado, let us just go into set number 2. We can talk more about the players in the game.
Oh, we will.
Alright, are you ready, Elegant?
I'm ready.
Here we go. Alright, here we are in the first game of Group B, or second set, but first game that we're casting. At the top right, as the orange Zerg, we will have LRM Bakuryu. At the bottom left, as the white Terran, we will have iFU.TTF.
Yes, indeed. We're going to have Noble TVs. And a pause already, very early on. Okay, that's all cool. Of course, we're going to pause. Probably early on is the best time to do it since nothing's actually happening. So yeah, we're going to have a bit of fun TVZ action. So see what these guys are going to be breaking out right here. As I was saying before, I'm kind of rooting for Bakuryu because he's just kind of a fan favorite of mine, and I really want to see him win something. I feel like he should be rewarded at some point for all this time he plays, because he's good and he's solid and he makes an effort. And you know, I don't know. I guess it's not quite quantifiable, but I just want something to happen.
You know, for me, it's not just the fact that he's a good player, but he's so willing to actually like help new players out as well. You know, he makes long posts in the strategy forum, you know, explaining to people why they should do something or what you know, if they have strategy questions or things like that. You know, he's always willing to give interviews and go on shows and things. So he's a really friendly guy and big on helping out the community.
If anyone compares him in the stream chat or anywhere to In Control, I'm gonna get very angry. Just as an aside.
Why would you compare him to In Control? I told them already. He's like C. He's exactly like a foreigner C. You know, because not only is he nice and is he like friendly, you know, big in the community, but his play style, he never ever cheeses ever. He's like C. Only plays macro builds. Even if you do something stupidly greedy or bad, like, you know, you're Protoss and you make your wall backwards with your cannons on the outside, he won't link bust you. He'll be like, you know what? I understand you don't know the walls on this map, even though your wall makes completely no sense, you know, is completely ridiculous. Yeah. I'm just gonna be a nice guy and not link bust you. So
so mana.
Yeah.
So mana. Yeah, I really want to see Baku do this, and I want to see him do it through playing well. I want to see him do it right. We do have a little bit of a 12 hatch in action. Was that a 12 hatch? I believe that was a 12 hatch.
Yes, I think it was.
Yes, it was a 12 hatch. Okay, cool. From the other side of things, it looks like we're having some very standard racked expandy type of thing going in from Mr. TTF. Excuse me, I've got a little bit of a bad throat today. And Scouts the Zerg opponent second as well, so everyone's going to be fully clued up.
Yeah, everything's standard so far. I've heard talk that TTF is a bit of a cheesy player, and by talk I mean KC keeps saying it. KC being Kid Canada, of course, aka Draw, another player who will be playing, I believe, next weekend in Group C.
C? Yeah.
I think he's in Group C.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. C. So, yeah, I suppose so. Just, by the way, looking at the overall dynamic of the group, I would definitely favor Bakuryu to get out of it, but for me, Group B is actually one of the hardest to predict, or at least it was when if Infected had been able to play, because TTF, you know, he's got some pretty wacky builds, you know, and it is best of one, so cheesy builds can definitely work, and of course G5 to me is definitely a bit of a wild card, so this group I think overall is very interesting.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, your point about G5 being a wild card, I think that's interesting because who could be quite sure what he's going to pull out? Because as we've already seen from matches today, players who looked very solid in qualifiers can be taken apart quite badly in this stage of the tournament. So it's going to be really interesting to see how he can perform. And I, for one, am very curious to see how that goes. We do have a standard rack spine, by the way, going off from bottom left hand corner. So these guys are going to be taking it off into the mid game. But yeah, this group, I'd kind of fancy Bakuryu's chance of getting out as well. I'm not sure I know too much about TTF though, so I'd be hesitant to call his chances.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one of those players that is kind of a mainstay in like team leagues and stuff. He always plays for Russia and Nation Wars, and plays for iFU a lot in their clan wars as well. But never really posts amazing results anywhere. You know, he can take games off the best players, but he doesn't do it consistently enough to like win tournaments or you know, make big impacts in leagues or anything like that. But although having said that, you know, recently I think he won or got second place in a couple of LAN tournaments. The Russians, man, they have an amazing Brood Wars scene. So
they do, don't they?
Just last weekend, actually, he was actually one of the reasons we had to postpone the group, was because he was actually playing at a Russian LAN where he actually took second place, barely losing to Rams, actually another one of our qualifiers in the finals. So that's quite exciting. So he's definitely pretty cool. Also, his Liquipedia page says that he has a child.
What?
Which is not something many Brood War players can say.
Yeah.
Man, it was crazy. You know, in preparation for today, I was like going through all the Liquipedia pages for these players, and man, there's some crazy facts on these guys. Like, that's where I found out that Drone had a pimp his play, and like TTF as a kid. Oh, it's madness, madness.
Weird things you can find out. Who's putting this stuff up there? Are they putting it up there themselves?
Well, I mean, it's Liquipedia. Like, anybody can contribute as long as it's somewhat true and you have a source.
I might put some misinformation up about myself. I can put all kinds of rubbish up on there. It's gonna be brilliant. Do I even have a page? I probably don't. Oh, I gotta get on
No,
that.
dude, you do.
Do I?
Yeah, we both have pages.
That's sick.
It's amazing.
Oh wow, my life just got better.
Yeah.
Oh god.
You're famous, dude. You got a Wikipedia page.
The ego, I can feel it ballooning right now.
Yeah, you're somebody worth knowing. Okay, hold on. I think we should talk about what's going on here, because this is completely non-standard in TTF space. He's gone for 2 factory speed vultures. Which is, and he's got an armory. So basically what he's going to do is, he's assuming that Baku's going to play standard and go for 3H muta, which is exactly what Baku's doing. He's going to try and hit a pre-muta timing and run a bunch of vultures in just before the mutas pop, kill a bunch of drones, and then when the mutas pop, they have to waste time killing the vultures, which is going to run around, and that'll give him time to build Goliaths to defend against the mutas. So this is a very interesting strategy, but well, it's going to be interesting to see how Bakuryu defends this. Bakuryu at the moment has no idea. Everything he's doing is completely standard.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is going to be quite a shock for Bakuryu right here, because of course he has no means of actually getting in there and scouting. This is quite a hefty wall from TTF. The vultures are about to pop out, so now Bakuryu will see something's up, because that is a very unusual number of vultures. Often you see 1 vulture, but 4 is a little bit of a surprise. I would imagine he'd be maybe, I was about to say maybe expecting a dropship follow-up from this, but I'm not sure.
Possibly, although it looks like the mutas are actually already out, so TTF sort of bungled the timing, and now the wall is up as well. He also took a ton of damage from those links, which really should not happen, so, you know, very interesting idea, but somewhat poor execution here from TTF, unfortunately for him. Although, I mean, he's not in trouble or anything, he just didn't do as much damage as he probably could have. His SCV count, by the way, seems very low to me, is that
yeah, it does seem quite low to me as well. He's not producing at the moment. I wonder if he's cut quite significantly for any reason. He seems to be kind of right on the edge of his mineral requirement. He's just spending his minerals, no more, no less. So perhaps this is a deliberate cut, because there's no way he would really forget for this long, surely.
Yeah, I guess he did it so that the timing would work out for the vultures. Unfortunately for him, oh, great block by Bakuryu. No chance. No chance. Loses 2 drones for 3 vultures. Not the worst trade in the world for the Tyranny, in fact, because vultures are kind of expendable at this point. The whole point was to just go in and kill some drones, but, you know, really not good at all.
Yeah, that could have gone way worse. Some nice block from Bakuryu there, and it's all about quick reactions in that kind of situation, just being able to deal with it very, very effectively. Bakuryu doing some good damage limitation. Losing 2 drones, I'd say, is very, very affordable. Oh, but I wouldn't be flying your mutas in there, Bakuryu. You need to make sure that those stay alive for a little bit longer. Those Goliaths, while they don't do superb damage, they do enough if you have that significant of a number. And the Charm Booster upgrade is not too far from done now either, so once that comes in, those mutas are going to have a very hard time pulling off any kind of successful harassment. TTF's having a hard time getting any kind of scout out though, so his map is looking pretty dark at this time, and Bakuryu's going to be able to do what he likes pretty much in complete secrecy.
Yeah, I want to kind of clarify a statement you said. You know, some people might be wondering, Elegant, you know, Goliaths do 20 damage per shot against air. Well, what do you mean they don't do much damage? Well, the thing is, in Brood War, there's damage types, so it's kind of like in SC2 where things get, you know, plus something versus armored or plus versus biological. In Brood War, you have unit sizes and damage types, so Goliath's air attack is explosive damage, and a Mutalisk's unit type is small, which means Goliath shots only do half damage against Mutalisks.
Yeah.
So even though it seems like they would do more damage, they're actually not doing an insane amount of damage like they would do against, big air-like carriers or whatever, which are large type.
It's fascinating, actually, how hidden these things are. There is a text file, I think, isn't there, on the in the Brood War directory, which lists all these various odds and ends.
Is there? I just read. I don't know where I read all this.
I think there's a text file which lists all kinds of crazy stuff that you would never quite imagine to be the case. And it's like people don't know that damage is more incremental than just one at a time. I think how low does it go? I'm not sure. Anyway, damage and whatnot actually goes in less than just whole figures.
Yeah, it goes to 1 decimal place.
Yeah, which is crazy. I mean, I don't know how anyone discovered that in the first place. Probably by reading the text file. We do still have a little bit of Mutalist harass coming into main base, but they're going to be turned away quite simply by those Goliaths. Goliaths, whilst not great, are going to do some decent damage, and those Mutas just going to be able to poke around, not much more than that. We do have quite a heavy contingent of Hydras right here. Of course, for anyone who's wondering why he hasn't done the usual transition straight into more of a Lurker Ling-based type play, Hydras are, as long as you can get the significant mass, a better counter against this kind of heavy mech sort of army composition. So this makes complete sense from Bakuryu.
Yep, the army composition, as you said, is completely different playing against Bio versus Mech. In Mech, it's mainly Hydra, Muta into eventual Guardians if you can afford them, as well as some Defiler play. And you can see he's getting ranged attack for his Hydras and Carapace for his Mutas. The Mutas are going to run in first, tank a lot of the shots and try and snipe siege tanks, while the Hydras come in from below and then clean up all the Goliaths. Because the Terran force is mainly going to be, 2/3 Goliaths and maybe 1/3 tanks, if that. So if you can just pick off a few of those tanks, make the Hydra super effective, that's exactly what you want. And you can see he's also taking a 4th base fairly quickly here. That's also the way to do it. The mech army is going to be way more cost efficient than you, so you just need to be able to out macro him and outproduce him because he's not very mobile. He can't really effectively attack all your bases anyway. So you're pretty okay doing that.
Yeah, I think so. It looks like we're going to move out from TTF. He's going to kind of slowly push. He's going to start leapfrogging tanks on over. I don't see any intention to make another command center as of yet, so I guess just going to try and stick where he is. Those 2 Hydras on the ramp are going to be very, very useful right now in defending against those vultures, but will the drone go down? Yes, the drone will go down. Interestingly, Bakuryu backing quite a lot of minerals right now. He's got 900 minerals in the bank, a fair amount of gas as well. He'd probably do well to start spending that unless he's saving it for something specific, but we don't see him taking up to Hive or anything just yet, so I wouldn't imagine he's actually banking that for any good reason. So he should probably get spending.
He's not making his hatchery squares. What's going on here? Bakuryu, why aren't you making hatchery squares? Sorry, Bakuryu stylistically, he always makes squares of 4 hatcheries in his main so that he can box all the larvae and get 12 larvae at once, because obviously there's 3 per hatchery times 4 is 12. Yay, we can do math. So yeah, Bakuryu likes to do that, although I guess it's fine as well. He can just box all this stuff. Anyway.
It's slightly less aesthetically pleasing, but
yeah, I know. I mean, it's just like, it's Bakuryu's thing, man. It's his thing, and he's not doing it.
Yeah.
It's weird. So TTF poking out a little bit. Yeah, man, where is his 3rd command center?
Yeah, I've been wondering that for a little while now. I guess it's just waiting until he knows he can move out, but that's a little bit self-defeating, I think. A slightly odd decision from him right there. He does have a pretty significant army now. There's really no way Bakuryu is going to be able to break that as soon as he gets into a defensive position, especially not with all those spider mines in that choke point like that. Although the spider mines look like they're a little bit misplaced, and quite a few of them are going to go down before the siege tanks can actually siege up and do anything. Still no overload speed, interesting enough as well. You'd expect the overload speed would be done by now. It is researching, but when you know that there are going to be mine presence on the map, you'd have thought that would be a bit more of a priority.
Yeah, definitely a little bit funny there, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. And TTF didn't do anything too aggressive early on either, so so I guess it's fine. Bakuryu knows best.
Yeah.
Anyway, a bunch of vultures running over here to the right side. Eventually just engage these Hydras straight up. Usually that doesn't go well for vultures, but in this case they outnumber them so much that it's actually okay. And doing nice mine there. Gonna pick off all those Hydras.
Oh no!
And, oh my god.
Oh no!
Is that undefended? Oh god.
There are 3 more Hydras going to pop out with those Hydras to be able to do enough. Those Hydras will not be able to do enough. Oh my god, Bakuryu, you're going to lose so many drones right here. He's doing the desperate drilling and they're actually doing quite a good job, but those 4 vultures are going to be so good against the drones. And in come the Zerglings. Zerglings, of course, not brilliant against vultures either. And more drones continuing to go down. This is horrible, horrible stuff. And Bakuryu taking a heavy hit to his economy right there. The loss of the vultures, whilst it looks serious, I can assure you nothing could be less serious than losing a handful of vultures for a bunch of drones. That is a very, very nice trade right there for TTF. But still, no 3rd command center. He's sent a few SCVs looking like he's planning to make the 3rd command center, but it still isn't happening. So meanwhile, he's doing some decent economic damage, but isn't doing much catching up for himself.
Yeah, oh, looks like it's an Radiate off on the meter clump, but gets pulled out instantly by Bakuryu. Note that Bakuryu now has +2 carapace, as well as, well, should have +2 attack soon. Okay, looks like it's about 80% there. And Terran looks like he's at 2-0, so all good times. Looks like, wow, building turrets before building command center? I mean, oh, he's building it in his main. There it is. Finally building it really, really late. I thought he was just going to go for a 2-base all-in, but... Man, if you're going to build it that late, you might as well not build it at all. Just you know, make more factories and just go for it.
Well, this kind of almost is a 2-base all-in at this point, because if he can't do some damage with what he's got already, then he's not really going to be going anywhere, because Bakuryu's economy is just going to be so far ahead. I can't imagine he's going to be able to do that much damage anyway. He has a relatively small core of siege tanks. He needs to really steamroll Bakuryu at this point in order to really do any decent damage, but Bakuryu has a lot of units. Sorry, go on.
Well, actually, now that I look at what he's doing, I kind of like this. He's basically abusing the same kind of map architecture that I was talking about in the last group set 1. Hold that thought. Looks like we're going in. Nice defense matrix on the lead siege tank. I don't think this is going to go well for Bakuryu. Look, this cliff thing is blocking the flank attack partially, so he's not getting the best angle. It looks like all the Hydras coming from the back doesn't even matter. Oh my god, so many Hydralisks just annihilating everything. I thought that was going to go a lot better for TTF, but he didn't have enough mines blocking that little gap between the two cliffs there. So he's actually going to get his entire army cleaned up right here. He should have laid a few more mines here in this gap that would have blocked the flank attack and made it a lot better for him. But as it is, Bakuryu now cleaning that up at 91 supply. It's at 89. The supplies are still very close, but looks like Bakuryu going to lose some drones.
Oh, that is just what he doesn't want to be doing right now when he finds himself in a good position after a very, very nice engagement. He's going to lose some more drones. Sitting at the top of the ramp right there as well. A little bit of a mistake. Bakuryu losing unnecessary amount of economy right there. He does still have plenty of economy behind him. But I think that that's a great example of what we just saw there, of what it means to stay on 2 bases too long. Because when at one point you look like you got a very strong push, that very quickly turns to disaster when your opponent has more bases than you and your opponent is allowed to get away with expanding quite that much. And you don't really do anything about it. So TTF, while he might have had a window, I think he way overextended his welcome with that.
Yeah, I mean, he is actually trying to sneak 2 expansions now. He's getting that mineral only as well as getting the 9 o'clock. He's going to send an attack squad of 5 Marines up there. And he's got a couple of tanks defending this position. The thing is, it's a little bit tricky for Bakuryu to actually attack into this, but I think if Bakuryu knew about this 9 o'clock base, he'd immediately deny it. I think he just hasn't scouted it yet, but he has gone up to high tech. He's got his Defiler Mound. Looks like he hasn't gone for a Greater Spire yet. It doesn't necessarily need to go for the Guardians. That was actually quite standard to go for, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, to just go Hydra Guardian. But nowadays, players are just using Defilers a lot more anyway, even against mech. Even though the siege tanks have good splash, you can still do some good stuff with that, combined with drops and all that goodness. So, so I guess he's just going to go for that instead. Yeah,
I think that's probably going to be the case. I mean, it would be a little bit too late for him to switch now. He seems to have missed it, and definitely gone for the Defiler Mound as well. So, that's pretty much needs to be set in stone. We do have a Ling up in the top left-hand corner, going to be taking care of that Vulture almost. What? I'm surprised that Bakuryu hasn't scouted the left-hand side yet. He's got Overlords everywhere else but there. Dude, that's the only place you can't see.
That Ling on the top left, that mine blew up on him. How did he not die? That was so weird.
He was running away from it.
Yeah, but still, he's only got like a tiny bit of HP. Even if it lessens the HP, I definitely thought that should have died.
Link survived.
That's a little bit weird.
They're running away.
Mine hit. The question is, you know how there's like some random small percent miss chance for all shots in Brood War? Do you think mines actually
Are you suggesting
miss?
that mines can
well,
miss?
Dude, oh my god, okay, here's the thing. Okay, is there anything important happening? Okay, no, good. There's for Brood War API, which is like, you know, that development tool for making making Brood War API or AIs. There's actually a page on like all the little quirks that most people don't know, and one of them is that mines actually have an attack. It doesn't show you on, like, it doesn't actually display anything, but the way the mine works is it has an attack called just like explode or something, and so when it triggers on something, it doesn't actually blow itself up in the normal sense. It executes its attack and then it dies. So it attacks first and then it dies. So I'm wondering if the small mischance can actually apply to mines as well. I'm not sure, but it's crazy. Man, you should check that page out. It's amazing. It has so many crazy facts.
That's where you get all your facts from.
No, dude, I just saw it the other day. Somebody linked it to me. I had no idea it was there.
Yeah, you gotta definitely.
Now I've got a whole new bank of crazy facts in my head. I'm just waiting to reveal them.
Yeah. Wow. Wow, man, I gotta find that page. That's gonna be an awesome night in for me. I can tell you that.
Yeah, I was nerding out like crazy.
I bet you were. Just, who wouldn't? Obviously. Yeah. That's seriously cool. Meanwhile, we have some shenanigans going over on the left-hand side. It looks like we're going to see Bakuryu try and break this. He's going to have an interesting time of doing so. That's really pretty well defended. He's going to go in there. He definitely needs Dark Swarms to do this. He does pretty much no damage with the first wave of Lings, and the rest of his units coming in quite significantly late. He throws away a lot of units going up that ramp. I think he'd have done well to wait until Dark Swarm kicked in to actually execute that attack.
The funny thing is the Lurker is going to take no damage on the Swarm, even from the splash damage. Board units don't even take splash on the Swarm. So the only thing that can kill this is Spider Mines and Irradiate. And it's like, oh, one mine's going to hit, but still needs one more. And it's not going to happen. So this is actually being surprisingly annoying. But of course the Dark Swarm will wear out eventually. Bakuryu meanwhile is just chilling with a giant army in the middle. And Elegant has died.
My Brood War hates me. That happens sometimes. Don't worry about it, guys.
Oh, it's too much. I think your Brood War is protesting the imbalance of an invincible unit in the game.
I think that's true.
Because that's what this Lurker is. It's invincible. Okay, now it's
almost. Yeah. And we see it go down. But most importantly, that has pretty much busted Bakuryu into that base. Although he doesn't seem to be taking advantage of it. He could be sending a bunch of Lings or something in there now to deal with this. But weirdly, he sent the Lings in first and then actually dealt with the defense. And now he's got nothing to send in. But that's quite weird. He's still... I mean, he's still got pretty decent map control. Look at this arc he's got kind of cutting off the Terran from moving anywhere. It's pretty good, but he should have spotted that left-hand side base earlier, I can't help but feel.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what Bakuryu's doing right now. He's kind of goofing off with small groups of units, not actually committing his whole army. His army has actually got a lot of Zerglings in it, which really are not very useful. You want almost pure Hydra Muta if you can afford it, which he should be able to considering he's got, what is that, 6 bases? Or almost 6 bases are up now, so, oh, looks like now he's going, he's committing, he's gonna run into a tank line though. I don't know if this is the best thing, but there's no mines in the front, so there's nothing buffering. Oh man, these things are gonna be way more effective than they should be. There should have been mines and vultures in the front buffering, but now they're gonna close with the Sea Shanks. Great Dark Swarms on these Hydralisks, gonna protect them against the Sea Shank fire, and this is gonna be pretty bad for the Terran there. Man, no supporting units for those Sea Shanks whatsoever.
No, nothing at all. Sea Shanks have trouble really functioning by themselves. And are pretty much all taken down, so this base is going to be done. D-Matrix will keep that Siege Tank alive, but only for so long. Bakuryu is still going to be able to probably break this one, and there's really very little TTF can do in terms of actually mopping this up afterwards as well. I think TTF, I don't like saying it, but I think he's kind of verging on dead in this particular match. He just lost a lot of SCVs in the transfer away as well. Not even one single SCV managing to make it out. He might be able to catch a command center. Oh, it looks like command center might just in fact be able to survive, which could be a nice little bit of a surprise windfall right there for TTF.
Oh, he's not moving it.
Okay, it's not moving it. It's reached the edge of the map, and it's game over for the command center. Meanwhile, Bakuryu is spreading like a plague of Zerg across the map. He's got the top base. He's got both the top mineral-only bases, and I expect him to be taking top left fairly soon as well, just because he sort of can. And the right-hand base as well should be happening at some point too.
We've got a cow's nest. We've got a cow's nest.
We've got a cow's nest, guys. So we're going to be seeing Ultralisks happening pretty soon. And even against Siege Tanks, Ultralisks are tough as hell.
And Vulture Drop gets denied. Oh, no, not quite. Not quite. You can get some drones. Oh, 2 drones. 3 drones.
He might get them all. Looks like he might get them all.
Nope. 3 drones. Nope, Alright, you got one more. Oh.
Yeah, he's going to get that one. Oh, nope. He doesn't even care. He doesn't even want it. He literally bumped into a drone and was like, move, I have to get to the mineral line. That's where the good stuff.
Maybe he couldn't see. Maybe because the Hydra spat on him, there was like acid on his windshield.
Yeah.
So, you know, he was like trying to clean it off and he didn't notice a drone there.
I told you again, simulation-based Brood War. I mean, it's a whole different game, but it's exciting stuff.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if there's lava.
We need like real world physics. So, you know, if a probe's carrying minerals, it takes less damage because the minerals block it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really clever. This is weird. We basically reinvent Brood War every week, you know, and we're so under-recognized as well for our great work in
we just make our own version, custom Brood War map, the way it should be played. Dude, somebody like released a crazy mod of Brood War actually.
Really?
I think it was like 6 months ago or something, but they added like super units so that you had like super battle cruisers that had twice as much HP and like extra abilities, and they had, you know, super arbiters and things. And you could just play it like as if it's, but everything else was the same. They just added a few random units, so you could play it like real Brood War, but with crazy units in it. It was quite interesting.
I've seen some really weird like screenshots of crazy stuff happening in the Brood War engine. I mean, some really whacked out screenshots of huge epic stuff happening. And I'd love to find out.
There was a Gundam mod of Brood War where all the units were Gundams.
See, where did all that stuff go? Where does it all exist now? It can't have just fallen out of existence.
Yeah, I don't know. By the way, if anyone's wondering about the game, TTF is pretty boned. I mean, Bakuryu's at 177 supply. It's 116 for TTF. He's just kind of like waiting for Bakuryu to take it down here. Pretty hard to actually finish off Terran Mech, so...
Yeah, really, really hard to finish off. It's the same as when you think of PvT. I mean, you can win the game, but it can still take a long time for Terran to actually die or leave.
Yep.
I would say Bakuryu's pretty much got this wrapped up at this point. TTF is just trying to squeeze back out to that 4th base now, and it's just about succeeding. But meanwhile, Bakuryu is taking extra base to left, right, and center.
Yep, and looks like setting up a huge arc of units so he can just E-move everything in. It looks like getting drawn in by an irradiated Hydralisk there. He actually kills his own Hydralisk. The Ruthless Swarm, the Ruthless Overmind, commanding that Hydra's brothers to turn on him. It's quite sad.
Yeah.
But, yeah, now the funny thing is, you know, of all maps, I could see TTF actually coming back on this map in particular by turtling up his Terran. And I'll talk about that as soon as this attack ends, because he's going in with a lot of units here, a lot of Spider Mines in position this time. That's what he needed last time, good D-Matrixes, but unfortunately, just not enough units in general. He had enough energy to just D-Matrix almost every individual tank, but still getting wiped out by the Zerg forces here, although it looks like a good number of reinforcements means he probably won't actually die just to this attack, and still be able to keep his 9 o'clock base alive as well.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be able to hold out just barely with the reinforcements as they come in. A couple more siege tanks getting cleaned up there, but excuse me, TTF is able to hold on. So Bakuryu is just going to keep banging his head against this particular wall for the time being. We're back onto 143 supply already versus TTF, who, to be fair to him, 116 supply, not too terrible. So TTF actually kind of gaining some ground here. If he were to get able to get one more base up, then I would say he's still in with the shot. But as it is, Bakuryu is still looking really, really good. If a little bit thin on drones at some places, although that really doesn't matter when you're Zerg. You don't seem to need quite as much economy as everybody else.
Oh,
Bakuryu. Sorry, go on.
Bakuryu might be going for some drops here. Alright, hopefully there's not much more action. What I wanted to say earlier was the reason he might be able to come back in this game is if he can claim the top left 2 bases, if he just slow pushes out here and secures this natural and gets the main for free, even though Bakuryu will have a lot more gases than him, they'll be splitting the more bases than him. They'll be splitting the gas evenly. The 2 bases at the 12 and the 6 are both mineral onlys. So even if Bakuryu has 3 of those and TTF has 1, it doesn't matter because the gases are all along the left and right sides of the map. And that's the crucial resource here, because if you get to the super late game, the minerals will only allow Bakuryu to produce more Zerglings and hatcheries, but that doesn't matter because the Zerglings, once the mech ball gets rolling, the Zerglings are essentially useless. They don't actually do anything. You can occasionally do fancy drops and stuff on the mech ball, but you really need the gas units to wear it down. So actually, if TTF plays super cost efficient and just turtles up like crazy and somehow manages to claim the top left 2 bases, it's not completely inconceivable that he could come back, although at the moment it's still very, very unlikely.
Yeah, it's definitely not outside the realms of possibility. I think it's entirely valid that he's not leaving the game yet, because this is doable for him, and he's able to repel another little strike force of Bakuryu. He's able to clean up so many Hydras with Vultures right there. What an obtuse engagement that was. Vultures chasing down Hydras, but now it looks like the Vultures are going to be dead. All but 3 of them are going to go down, so a pretty even trade from these 2 guys right here. Bakuryu, meanwhile, I think he's going to be much more careful about the top left-hand corner than he was about the left-hand side base. I think he has to be.
Yeah, and interestingly, TTF is mining those, or mining as in he's laying spider mines, not actually mining the minerals. He's got a command center here at the 6 o'clock. I think he was trying to take that mineral only there as well, but obviously that's already taken by the Zerg. He should actually just float that over to the top left. He really needs to secure the top left 2 bases. Bakuryu's got a drone over there now, but TTF, but the thing is, I can understand it's quite difficult for him to actually push out all the way over there. He's got, because if he does that, he'll have quite a big area to actually cover. So he's just kind of holding on for now, and he is building up supply. I mean, look at his supply. He's at 152 already, and the thing is, even though Bakuryu's maxed, the Terran mech max is way scarier than a Zerg max.
Yeah, I mean, you can melt most of the Zerglings probably without ever taking a single unit cost, to be honest. I mean,
basically, Terran mech max can, you know, take out an entire Zerg max army and lose maybe 15 supply, and that's it.
Yeah. And there's one very distressed Hydralisk, which is rotating in ever increasingly fast circles. That looks ridiculous. That Hydra is just absolutely freaking out. I think it might be about to be released from its prison. I think it's actually getting quicker as it goes. This is another amazing
He's spinning faster and faster. Oh god. Oh no, he's going out of control.
He has got absolutely out of control. He's going to drill through the ground, and he's going to come out in another Brood War game on the other side of the planet.
He's going to pop out the other side of the map.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's on the other side? Dude, there's lava under the ground though. It's crazy.
Oh, we have a big drop going into the bottom base for Terra. I mean, he doesn't really need that particularly because it's a mineral-only base and he has mineral in the bank which he can't spend. But nonetheless, he's going to lose a lot of SCV. He's going to lose his scanner and he's going to lose that command center probably as well. So Bakuryu doing a good job of cleaning that base out and not before time as well. He probably would have done well to deal with that earlier, but better late than never, as we always say. And going to take 1 or 2 siege tanks down with him. Not much point in leaving those Hydralisks alive, I guess. Because they may as well try and do a little bit of extra damage while they're there. But yeah, Bakuryu just sort of slowly trying to lessen TTF's grip on the map and throwing down the top left-hand corner base as well. He is placing the hatchery at the off position because, of course, there is a spider mine there, which he wasn't quite able to deal with for some strange reason, even though he has Hydralisks kicking around.
Yeah, and unfortunately for us, that headspin Hydra has freed himself or somewhere, so it's very sad. It's a sad day, but he had his moment, he had his time to shine, and we do have a command center now floating up towards the top left. Now, I'm curious to see how TTF is actually going to secure that base. He has laid a good number of spider mines down, kind of blocking off the 9 o'clock, and he's got all his tanks here. It looks like Bakuryu is going to throw away his forces once again here. He's trying to whittle down the Terran 4s. I don't know if this is going to be effective. Where are the swarms? There's some swarms. A lot of spider mines in position. Great defense matrixes, though. This is not going well for the Zerg at all. Oh, man, Bakuryu getting crushed.
Yeah, I mean, Hydra's really not working very well right here. He has got plenty of cash in the bank, though. What's he going to make? He's making more Hydralisks. I would quite fancy him to make quite a lot of Ultralisks at this point, just because he's going to have to tank a serious amount of damage to get through those siege tanks at any point.
Oh man, Ultra drops on the tanks. That's awesome. Just when the tanks thought they actually won the engagement, like 4 Ultras drop out on top of them and they're under a Dark Swarm. Like, yeah. That's not a good place to be. But this is bad because this gives TTF the opportunity to actually move to the top left while Bakuryu needs to remax.
Yeah, that's really, really bad.
And look at this. He's doing it. He's moving out.
He is. He's going for it. Bakuryu's remaxing quite fast. He's on 176 supply now, so he should have the force to deal with this. But TTF might be able to establish a position with mines there as well, and tanks in a nice little kind of nook there on the left-hand side of the map. I still don't know why Bakuryu is sticking so fervently to Hydralisk composition. Okay, then now we have a clutch of Ultralisks in the making, but I would prefer him to make those a little bit earlier. But nonetheless, he is finally getting them going. But he needs to stop TTF from taking that top left-hand side of the map. Otherwise, it's going to really extend the game, and he's going to let TTF right back in it.
Interestingly, he actually got supply blocked after using all those overlords to drop on the Terran, and TTF's now ahead in supply, 174. Oh, sorry, no, just under supply. But basically, he's caught up, right? At one point, Bakuryu is almost maxed against what, like 130 supply from TTF at most. It's not even 130 supply, right? And now they're even. So this, I mean, and the thing is, all right, you have to also consider not just the actual state of the game, but the mental state of Bakuryu right now. How mad would you be if you're just like, come on, just die, you freaking Terran, just leave the game, right? I mean, like I bet he thought he won this game, 10 minutes ago. But in fact, it's now looking like it might go on for another 20 minutes.
I mean, I thought the game was when he was moving into the 9 o'clock base. I thought that was when it was going to be done and dusted, but yeah, TTF's managed to lever his way back into it. Bakuryu once again going in for a huge engagement. Will he finally be able to do the damage he needs to do? It's pretty much pure Hydralisk once again. He should have some Ultralisks in there. Where are your Ultralisks, Bakuryu? Where are they? I've been looking for
He's doing Ultra drops.
Ultralisks coming in out of the Overlords, and finally he might be able to break the Terran push. I think Bakuryu is going to have the strength. He's breaking through the Terran lines. There is a handful of siege tanks left, but they are going to be done. And finally Bakuryu is able to catch TTF in an unfavorable position with the necessary units and bust straight through the line. TTF, what else have you got in your tank?
Wow, I didn't even think TTF's position was that bad, but Jesus, Bakuryu had so many units.
Yeah.
And now Bakuryu, 162 supply against 95. They were neck and neck at 174 just now. And suddenly there's no more mech. It's so funny because mech is supposed to be the cost-efficient one. Like, that was supposed to go the other way. Terran was supposed to have 170 supply left while Zerg had nothing. But it didn't go that way because Bakuryu is crazy good and is now in ridiculously good position. Although it looks like we've got more tanks rolling out. But he's got to be so careful though, because as the Terran ball gets smaller, it gets considerably weaker. Basically, the strength of the mech army kind of grows exponentially with the size of the army. So once you're maxed, it's ridiculously strong. But if you're only at sub 100 supply, it's really not that scary.
Yeah, it's not cost efficient at all. Oh, we have a bit of a drone transfer going over the top left, and that's going to end in tears for a few unlucky drones right there. It looks like all of them going to go down. Bakuryu might actually lose a base up at the top left-hand corner right there, and he probably enjoy having that gas available to him, but he's going to be alright for the time being, at least still mining off plenty. It's not a concern yet that he's going to run out of cash anytime soon. And TTF, yeah, is managing to re-establish that position. Bakuryu needs to come down on him heavy once again if he's going to be able to stop that top left-hand base from going down. But honestly, I don't think Bakuryu's got the strength to do it right now. He's going to go for it, though. He did throw away a control group of Hydra slightly wantonly, but here we have the Ultralisk drops coming in once again, which might be able to seal the deal. The Overlords are going to start dropping all over this Terran units. Oh my god, that is so much stuff coming out right there. GG!
GG! That is many Ultralisk.
Wow.
That was ridiculous. I didn't even realize. I was clicking on all the Overlords, and it kind of like, I could see the Ultralisks, but it didn't actually register in my mind until they started just falling onto the siege tanks. Oh man.
That is so much stuff. I had no idea he had quite so much in there. I mean, you see the Overlords coming in and you're like, oh, that's a decent handful of units, and then boom, just so much stuff coming out, and TTF left with no choice but to concede the game. Pretty much out of cash and out of options right there if he wasn't able to take the top left-hand corner. And Bakuryu doing a nice job of shutting him down from quite an early stage, it has to be said.
Did make a pretty good fight out of it, though.
Yeah.
Almost coming back there from a seemingly lost position. I mean, they were even supplied there at that huge engagement that Bakuryu just crushed him. I'm still not quite sure how that happened. I might go back and rewatch that replay or something.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was really
hefty. He got a good arc, but I didn't think TTF's position was that bad, right?
Or that he had that few units. Yeah, I'd have thought that the number of siege tanks would be able to at least make a pretty good job of melting some Zerg.
Yeah. Oh well, Zerg's pretty good race.
Well, what do we know?
What do we know?
Yeah.
So with that, Bakuryu goes on to the winners match, where he will play G5. Man, I'm just tripping over my words today. And then TTF goes to the losers match, but because Infected unfortunately missed the playdate, TTF will win that by default and go straight to the final match.
Yeah.
So the next match will be the winners match between Bakuryu and G5. Which of them will advance to the round of 16? We shall see after this break.
Stick around, guys.